Welcome to the University of Rivengard, where we're teaching you the ins and outs of Snow Prince Rivengard so you can quit whining on Discord. We is me. I'm Erroneous. It's time for the final festival of the Cavern Realms, and our hero this fortnight is Voyassa. Voyassa is a dark hero, Cavern Realms, and he is the final hero that's rounding off this roster. It started with Nimril really early. Now, before we get started breaking him down, let's go over the basics. As we're looking at him, he's really a tank. He looks like a tank, but he's also a support hero. He doesn't look like a support hero. He looks like a hitter, but he doesn't really hit that hard most of the time. If we're perfectly honest, then I'll break that down later. I'll get to that, what I mean by that. But first, let's talk about traits. Now, he's got two traits. He is mounted, and as a member of the Cavern Realms, he has night vision. So mounted, here's your primer, here's your reminder, because you guys should know this already. A mounted hero is riding on something. They usually have a greater range of movement, but more importantly, they're not blocked by special tiles. An example of special tiles would be thorns or broken ice. Now, they are still affected by environmental tiles like fire and ice. So don't get confused on that one. The second power was night vision. Night vision belongs to all of the Cavern Realms heroes. That means they are not affected by darkness. That means his mounted action can go through darkness. He can walk through darkness. He doesn't take any of the penalties that are associated with darkness. But more than that, he gets an extra 50% damage against targets that are in darkness. And that really comes into play later as we're figuring out, is he a hitter? How much damage he's at? What is his function, his role on this team? Now, let's take a comparison. I think the best comparison that we can give is Accio in terms of the functionality of his role on the team. And I mean, he's a warrior. He's mounted. He has a power that is largely oriented towards support. Now, really what matters here, though, is raw stats, at least for the purpose of this comparison, okay? Raw stats-wise, Accio and Voyassa they're similar. They're fairly similar. At the same upgrade rank, Voyassa is going to have slightly less attack, so she's not going to hit like a little bit less hard in just bones to bones, raw comparison circumstances. And on the other side, he's got slightly more armor. He's a little bit more durable. He's got noticeably more health. If I recall correctly, when we're sitting at Silver 1, Voyassa is going to have 750 some odd health, and Accio is going to be somewhere just north of 600. So there's a noticeable difference in durability between these heroes. They have different trinkets. All right, so both of them have warrior weapon. They've both got a shield instead of warrior armor. And that shield gives them both block as far as their equipment enhancement goes. However, Voyassa is carrying a ring, and the ring gives a critical bonus. Accio carries amulet. Amulet gives an extra addition to block. So that different trinket means that Voyassa comes with a chance of hitting harder, but Accio comes with a greater chance of just nullifying more damage. Right? But all that said, we know that raw stats mean so little in this game. You should know that by now. What matters are abilities. So let's take a look at abilities. This is Voyassa's active ability, the Horn of Despair. That's a creepy kind of forlorn sounding thing, isn't it? The Horn of Despair. Like, compared to Pellettor's, like, I can't remember what it's called. Horn of Triumph. I don't know. Inspiration. It's sad. And this reflects that. And so at Uncommon, this is what we've got here. We've got friendly units within that thing that are dark. So friendly and dark in terms of color. That means either Cavern Realms or Waning Moon, right? Not on the other team. So you don't have to worry about accidentally buffing your opponents, all right? These guys receive a bonus to their damage on that turn. So anything in that turn after the Horn of Despair is sounded. And then anytime in the next turn, they get a damage bonus, right? And that includes Voyassa the next turn. He'll still have that kind of second turn bonus in there. Alongside of that, any unfriendly, any enemy units that are in the light factions, which means Charizard traders or the Radiant Order. Although I heard from Pendar that it's really more of an empire these days. It's neither here nor there. What it is they get a damage penalty. Not only that, but he also then spreads darkness. 6 random tiles within, I believe, 2 tiles. Yeah, 2 tiles. The thing is, and the thing that makes this dirty, at least as far as I'm concerned, I don't like this, but it keeps it from getting just out of control, is that you can only use this after he takes a hit. All right, so there's no just running out and blasting this on turn 1. That would probably give just a little bit too much advantage on especially a smaller map. If he's below 50% health, so if you hold off until he's taken at least half damage, that's all doubled. The penalty to the light units is doubled, the bonus to the dark units is doubled, and I've seen the legendary stats, and you can start hitting really hard, especially as a team. Now remember, all your Cavern Realms heroes have a 50% bonus to their damage due to night vision as long as things are in the dark. So the more dark, the better. Voyassa's passive is called Smell Fear. He can smell fear, you guys. Are you afraid? Should you be? Well, let's see. As he smells fear, that means that anyone who is wounded, this is like a blood in the water kind of thing. Anybody else that's wounded, an enemy that's wounded is going to take extra damage from him, from Voyassa, not from the rest of the team. This isn't a buff that goes on other heroes. You will do extra damage with Voyassa. Not only that, but then there's extra damage to wounded units that are also in darkness. This doesn't apply to units that are in darkness but are at full health. This is only an additional damage if they're wounded. So that's Horn of Despair and Smell Fear. I wonder what fear smells like. Right. So this is different. Let's get rid of Accio. He's not as good a comparison here. I really feel like probably Pellettor. Yeah, little Pellettor is a really good comparison in this area because he has a similar kind of ally buffing ability going on. Now, just in comparison, Voyassa has a greater range, so because he can reach out 2-tile radius instead of just being adjacent. He has a bit of a different effect because these modifiers aren't for everyone. They're for dark heroes and light heroes. And he potentially has much higher bonuses. On the other hand, Pellettor has no health restriction for when he can use his power. He can use it right from the beginning. And he has a bonus to the summons that happen and a bonus to critical and blocks. As far as the passive goes, Voyassa has self boost. Pellettor has ally boost. The amounts of the boost that they both come with in that passive, they are comparable. So really, if you've liked Pellettor for that, you can expect about the same, except self-focused instead of spreading it around. All right, so this is where we're at as far as our comparisons between heroes, between Accio as far as a support tank hero, and Pellitor as far as that kind of support ally boosting buffer hero. Snowprint has been kind enough to provide us with a couple of videos of Voyassa in action. We've got a PvP and we've got a against a dragon, so we can see a little bit about what's going on. Now, I'll pause this a couple times, give you a little bit of a play-by-play, and hopefully we can see some, you know, stuff in action. What might work well, and what they just screwed up on. PvP video. Here we go. So let's start this off. Alright, so they're advancing their heroes. Alright, so right there they got Tim come up. That's where Voyassa is going to take his initial damage. That means that now his power is primed. He can let it loose anytime he wants to. Let's see what he does. All right, so right there, I think what they're doing is they're showing us the different damage that the heroes are prepared to do right now pre-Horn of Despair. Okay, so there we go. There's the Horn of Despair. Cool animations. And here we go. Now he'll show through and get these things compared. So you can see there's a pretty sizable difference from what there was before. Come up, we've got Keshru. Alright, that looks like Renclu. And now, I assume they're... Okay, so we got our Night Banner that's coming across and has amplified the amount of darkness that's there. There it goes again. All right, so now what happens for the rest of this is we lose audio for some reason, and he just runs up and steamrolls with regular attacks because he can. Now, there's, to me, a wasted opportunity for a whole lot of darkness here to be filled with shades. He doesn't need to, but I think it was kind of a shame to not use Renculu's active ability there to just fill the map. Also, depending on how you time the Horn of Despair and the movement from our Night Banner, we could see a lot of multiplication here. We could see a lot of darkness spreading out, and that's going to affect the amount of damage that they do, and it's going to affect their ability to return fire with ranged heroes, and it's going to affect the amount of shades that can be summoned. So, you know, there's a pretty sizable advantage going, even just with that 6 burst of darkness that he does. Let's move over to the dragon. Okay, so right off the bat, you can see that he brings Voyassa up and sticks him on the landing pad of the dragon. So he's trying to draw aggro here. It's worth mentioning that this is a set of legendary heroes taking on a rare dark dragon, and I'm not sure that you're going to want to park a lower level Voyassa on the landing pad in order to draw that boost, just to take a hit, to take a guaranteed hit. And so we've got a multiplication of darkness already. Come They come up. There we go. So we've got our first hit. Voyassa's been moved out of the way. We've got all sorts of darkness spread around, and he is ready to go. What are they going to do? I mean, he would have taken a hit there anyway. All right, so their Night Banner comes up, does Area of Effect, spreads that darkness. Interesting choice. Okay, and he brings up Renklulu, and that Renaclu, that's what it is. Renaclu jumps up there and lets off all the shades into the darkness. That's a lot of shades. That's a fair number of shades. What do we got, about 10 there? 9, 10 shades? And then the Horn of Despair gives a boost to all of those shades that are within 2 area. I don't know. I don't know if I would have gone in that direction. You can see they're hitting for a ton, but they were already going to be hitting for a ton. I likely would have tried to fire Night Banner's passive ability, get things going, use the Horn of Darkness to spread things out a bit, and still go for the shades. It's probably overkill, but we like overkill, don't we? So yes, there's going to be a whole lot of pounding, bouncing, booming, breaking things as our shades and heroes do their thing. The shades are going to disappear in a round or two, and well, I mean, it's a legendary set of heroes going after a rare dragon. What do you expect? It's what's going to happen. He's going to do a ton of damage, but what you see is what you get. Mostly. Yeah. Voyassa. He's kicking some butt here. That said, he's not going to see a lot of usefulness on a team that is not all Cavern Realms. That's really the highlight. This Cavern Realms team has such a huge synergy on dark spreading across, of being able to drop shades, of all being able to take advantage of the darkness that happens and not be hindered by it. In a lot of ways, I feel like there's a certain amount of Balmer in Voyassa, because really he does a lot to help out his Cavern Realms faction team. But as soon as you strip that away, you're not going to see him have a lot of utility outside of the Cavern Realms. You're not going to see him have a lot of utility outside the Cavern Realms because, I don't know, I guess they just don't play well with others. There's nothing wrong with that, right? Here at University of Rivengard, we want to encourage you to play well with others. We want to, right? You don't have to play well with others as long as you're good enough on your own. Right?